Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel for another video this week. If you are new here and you clicked on this video because you're looking for some Christmas home decor inspiration, my name is Carrie. I live in New York City and I make videos about home decor, style, and life here in New York. I know that the majority of people who watch me here have come from my apartment tours, and if you liked those videos, if you've been wanting to see more, I can't do that many that often because I have one space, but luckily it's Christmas time. I think Christmas is what, 19 days away, 18 or something like that as I'm filming this. So although I am normally out of space to add anything else to my apartment, though I have been kind of itching to redo it, Christmas makes for a great time to decorate your space or redecorate it. So that is what we're doing today. This is my second Christmas, I believe, in this apartment, but it's actually the first time I've decorated it. I don't remember why I didn't do it last year, but I thought it'd be cute and fun to do this year and that it would make a cute video and hopefully give you guys some ideas too. I decided to do this pretty last minute. I didn't have any sort of game plan, but I didn't want just your run-of-the-mill decorations. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but if you've seen my apartment, you know that it is quirky and eclectic and there's lots of colors and patterns and things going on. And so I just wanted to bring a little bit of that into my Christmas decor. So to do that, I DIY'd a good amount of stuff. Not everything, but I just wanted some touches that felt personal, and I also wanted to keep this like pretty cheap and affordable because Christmas decorations can be expensive. And I also don't really have room for a tree, and so I had to just get a little creative with everything and decorate smaller spaces and make them feel festive. So if you haven't decorated yet but you still want to do something quickly, hopefully this is going to be helpful to you. All right, I think I've been rambling enough in this intro already. Let's head right into the video. Before we do, just remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and here we go.
All right, I got the majority of things for this makeover from Michael's and Target with a few exceptions, so here's what I picked up. 3 different sizes of styrofoam balls, 3 different sizes of these clear ornaments. These are plastic, not glass. 4 different types of lights, green and white puff balls in different sizes, a pack of googly eyes, 2 of these little glitter trees that I found in Target's dollar section, a few of these really basic paintbrushes, gold glitter and black acrylic paint, 2 wintry faux stems, this beautiful vase from H&M Home, and this 30-foot fake pine garland from this place called Jack's in New York. And I already had these jingle bells, so I used those too. Like I mentioned in the intro, I fully winged all of this, so I just wanted to get all of my crafting out of the way first. Then once I had everything made, I could figure out what to do with it. I started with the things that needed to be painted, which were my snowmen and a few of my ornaments. To keep things extra scrappy and cheap, I covered my coffee table with a shopping bag that I cut up from Uniqlo and then got to work. The one thing I definitely knew I wanted to make was a snowman. I made mine out of styrofoam and painted them black and white. This is actually so simple and took basically no time at all. Really, all I'm doing for this pattern is dipping my paintbrush in black paint and making sure it's saturated enough that it won't be streaky when I apply it. Then I make a short stroke and sort of pick up the brush at the end and just use a light hand so that it gives it that wispy, like stroked look. There's probably a better way to say that. And if I didn't get it fully right and there were white parts showing through the stroke, I just went in carefully and filled them in where they needed to be. And one other thing, if you're wondering how I made these stand up, literally all I did was take some mail I had laying around, like mail, that was printed on cardstock and cut it into little strips and then taped that into a circle. The styrofoam is so light that it holds with no issues, and there you go. Like I said, scrappy. Once I get to a point with painting where I can't hold it anymore without like getting paint on my hands, I set it down on that little stand that I made and then do the empty parts. I just did the same exact thing with the next 2 sizes, except for the smallest one, which was going to be the top or like the head of the snowman. I used the side of the brush instead of the front to make narrower strokes. Then, because the smallest ones that I had came in a pack of 6 and I had more left over, I decided to make a smaller snowman, which maybe isn't technically a snowman because they're all the same size, but for this purpose it works. True to my apartment, which has so many different black and white patterns in it, I just did some random ones because I didn't want it to completely match the bigger snowman. So I'm just doing one that's cow print, one with those same kind of brush strokes, and then one with some like abstract dots. I did those pretty late at night, so I just let them dry overnight, and then the next morning I assembled those little snowmen using a hot glue gun and they were ready to go. And then for the ornaments. The ones that I got at Michael's were literally made to be DIY'd, so I decided to do something different with each size that I got. So, at the same time as I was painting the snowmen, I gave my smallest set of ornaments a layer of gold glitter paint. This is pretty self-explanatory, I think, but the one thing I did want to mention is that when the paint first comes out of the bottle, it has a kind of frosted cast to it, which I wasn't expecting, but it dries clear, so all good there. So for the other two sizes, while I was browsing Michael's, I stumbled upon the section where they have all the googly eyes and thought it'd be fun to fill an ornament with them. I know this is super weird, but I was originally planning to do sequins or fake snow or something like that, but this felt much more me. This is also pretty straightforward, but I just filled the bottom of the ornament with the eyes so that they were just kind of hanging out at the bottom, and boom, those were done. Then for the medium-sized ornaments, I took these little puff balls that I bought in green and white, one to match my decor and two because they're festive colors, and filled the bottom of the ornaments the same way I did with the eyes. I feel like a classic holiday decoration that you see is to fill a bowl or something like that with ornaments, so that's what I decided to do with these. I really did not want to buy a bowl just for this, so I used one that I actually had in my kitchen, which happened to be empty, which has a pattern on the inside but is neutral wood on the outside. To cover up that pattern, I just used a leftover section of the pine garland that I had, and luckily it filled the bowl perfectly. The bowl isn't actually very big, and not all the ornaments fit, so I left out the medium-sized ones, and then we were pretty much done with that. One area I knew I wanted to take advantage of was my windowsill because I always think it's so pretty to see lights in windows, and it just felt like kind of a central location in my apartment. Like I mentioned before, I was using the garland to decorate this area and around my mirror, so I just quickly measured both to see how much of the 30-foot garland I could allocate to each space. I should also mention that this type of garland wasn't really my first choice because it looked so flimsy and sad compared to the really plush ones that you see, so to solve for that, I arranged it in this kind of wavy pattern that made it look much more thick and less uniform. So I'm just doing a rough arrangement of that here to see how much I'd need, and then I cut off the rest of it to use for the mirror. I ran into a slight issue with my Christmas lights throughout my apartment at some point, so the ones I'm adding here I ended up changing later, but I'm including this just to show you the general look. After those were all in, I went in with some jingle bells and just placed them throughout, kind of trying to stagger the direction that they were facing. And for my mirror, I basically just covered the perimeter in that same pine garland. To attach it, I'm using tiny strips of black electrical tape, which I already had, and I figured it would work best since it's A, gentle and easy to remove, and B, dark so it blended in with the green. I'm just cutting it in 2 to 3 inch strips and then in half from there long ways, because I had to weave it through the pieces of fake pine, and if the strips were too thick, you'd notice them right away. In attaching this to the mirror, one trick I used to, again, not make it look so uniform and unrealistic is I twisted it a few times between each piece of tape that I used, which I think actually worked out pretty well. Then, similar issue with the lights here, I started out with those little fairy lights, but ended up changing them later to the thicker ones. The technique is the same though, so basically I'm just weaving those into the pine garland, tucking some of them underneath and some of them over, not only to keep them in place, but to keep everything looking more organic. For a final touch, I just had a handful of those little white puff balls left over, so I randomly dropped them in. No adhesive or anything, they just kind of stayed on their own. To finish styling out that area, I went in and added my snowman on one side and then put the little glitter target trees around one of my plants that regularly lives down there, and that area was complete. Okay, and finally, my living room-ish area. Again, using something I already had, I pulled this cream-colored fuzzy rug out of my closet and layered it on top of my green one, just to make everything feel a little more, cozy and cute and whatever. And this is where that whole lighting mix-up comes in. So I knew I wanted to have some lights in the rug just kind of hanging out surrounding my little zebra, but I didn't want there to be a plug leading to the wall. I originally bought those snowflake lights to serve this purpose, but they were blue toned, which I didn't realize, and because everything else was warm toned, it just felt kind of off. So I decided to just go ahead and switch all the lights around and put the fairy lights, which are battery operated, around my zebra on the rug. Next to my record player, I usually have a fake monstera leaf in this long, tall vase, but again, to warm it all up, I found this super chic vase at H&M Home and put 2 fake stems in it. Looking back, I wish I got 2 white ones instead of the mismatched ones, but you live and you learn, and I didn't want to go back to Michael's, so I just went with it. I still felt like something was missing, so I actually found this cute black and white garland at CB2 on sale for like $10. I definitely did think about DIYing it, but I really did not want to go back to Michael's again, so I just grabbed it, and I think it really tied this whole area together and looks pretty cute and festive. And then I just cleared off some of my coffee table books and put the ornament bowl that I made earlier in the video on top. And for some finishing touches, I just used those snowflake lights that didn't work out anywhere else to weave them through my windowsill garland. I just won't light them up, but I think they're pretty when they're just transparent. I also just stuck some extra ornaments over in this area and added a few leftover jingle bells to my coffee table bowl, and decided to just put my second set of fairy lights around my fake banana leaf tree, and that's the entire makeover. I hope you guys enjoyed this and maybe got some ideas for yourself and your own apartment if you want to decorate last minute. Let me know if you plan to try any of them or if you have any more ideas for me in the future. And Merry Early Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.